What is going on? What's going on, Sam?
What's up, man? Man, I love. Like, I can just get to sit here and listen to that bomb beats from Dre right before everybody comes on.
It's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty sweet. So, dude, good show last night, man.
Oh man, that was great, man. Is Juice just like the college football guru or something?
Yeah, yeah, he's good. I mean, he just knows the SEC football, man. I thought we had some good debates, man. A lot of banter back and forth. I was listening to some national guys today. They were talking kind of similar, talk that we had last night, man. A lot of brought up the same points, really. I wonder where they heard all that from. You know what I mean? But they were talking the exact same stuff we were talking about, man. It was good. But those who missed the college football discussion shortly after the top 4 playoff teams were announced, we had a good show. Go check it out on Motion Sports. You can look it on YouTube or right here on Facebook or wherever you want to do. It's all over the place. Also, if you tune in now to Roku and Amazon, we're live, man. We're live on Roku and Amazon.
Oh yeah, we got that back going on again.
Yeah, so go check it out.
Right.
So, man, look, let's get into the thing. Let's get right into tonight, man. I mean, we got a big game tonight, man. Monday Night Football. It's Patriots
Caps and Ducks are just about getting ready to face off.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah. Patriots and Bills, man. Coming at you tonight, man. This is going to basically determine right now who's going to be leading the AFC. I mean, not only the AFC East, but the AFC, dude.
AFC
Patriots are coming on strong.
I mean, gosh, if you go back to our preseason show. I mean, it was a whole lot of what is Mac Jones going to do when Mac Jones beat out Cam Newton there in New England for the starting quarterback job, and there was a whole lot of head scratching going on. But now it's like, hey, maybe Bill Belichick is a quarterback guy, and they're just doing everything right. That's the playoffs started today. New England's the number 1 seed in the AFC. And
yeah, I mean,
nobody could have thought that when the season started.
No, I don't. I did not see this coming. I did not see the Patriots do what they're doing right now. I mean, honestly, God, I didn't.
Did you even think the Patriots would be a playoff team this year?
I thought they could squeak in with the new playoff structure, sure. I mean, because the AFC East is so weak. Besides Buffalo, they're at Buffalo, dude. But I don't know how the weather is. I think, man, they're right now it's blowing 40 here. I can't imagine what's being done in Buffalo right now, dude.
Yeah. So
it's good, But I mean, look, the Patriots are used to playing in that in that kind of weather, man. But I there might be a blizzard going on. Who knows? But
that'll be just not the right button. Hush, this button.
Blackbeard, what's going on, man? He says, yes, last year you knew
Blackbeard.
They wouldn't have a playoff team. I don't know, but I mean, again, I don't know. This year was a little bit kind of up in the air. I mean, who knew what Mac Jones was going to do? Look, Mac Jones, I hate to say this, is one of these, this is kind of like a jab at him, but it's not. But dude, he's the ultimate game manager. I mean, throws when he has to. They run the ball great, play great defense. I mean, it's a great formula.
I would take a game managing quarterback all day, every day.
Sure.
I mean, that's what Joe Montana, Steve Young, the West Coast offense kind of stuff that they ran. But those were game manager quarterbacks.
Sure.
And win. I don't care how you do it. Win the games. Yeah. Look at Kirk Cousins, who's all about he's Mr. Stats guy. But he doesn't
equip sometimes the wins, man. I mean, look. I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. I don't think he's completely elite. I wouldn't even put Mac Jones possibly in the top 10, in the NFL quarterbacks realm, but he doesn't have to be. Not with that defense, the way that defense is playing, as well as they're running the ball so well. But again, I mean, they're playing Bill Belichick football, and and the formula is working great for him. And the old adage, "Do your job." That's what's happening in New England. They're doing their job.
I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think we're gonna get a good game. I did see the over under drop down to 41, so it seems to tell me that there's gonna be some bad weather there for sure.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm looking at Mac Jones stats here. A completion percentage of 70.3,
Solid.
2,850 yards, averaging 7.5 a pass, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, sacked 24 times. Maybe cut those sacks down a little bit and a couple less interceptions. But I mean, it's not a bad stat line.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, look on the flip side, you've got a Buffalo team I can't freaking figure out, man. I mean, Josh Allen is all over the place. I mean,
Jekyll and Hyde, yeah,
it's big time. I mean, they were my pick to win the AFC, but I mean, Josh Allen is inconsistent. Their defense has been Swiss cheese as of late, and I mean, who knows? But they are playing at home, man, against that crazy crowd at Buffalo, and Buffalo's favored by 3. I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be one of these. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I actually can't wait to get off here and actually watch this game, man. This is going to be a fun one, man. It really is.
Okay. Look at that. There's some. We can get us some Buffalo weather too. You're right. You were asking
Jones
about that.
will not win the Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be. The kid, the linebacker from Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it took Mac Jones a couple weeks to get it going. If he had came out lights out, and let's say if it was something more along the lines of 21 touchdowns to 6 interceptions right now, I think it would look better. But the stats just aren't really there.
Yeah,
to give him the
Micah Parsons, I think, is going to be the Rookie of the Year. I think he's having just an outstanding year. So, I think he's by far in the lead for that. I mean, the kid.
But we'll see. I mean, it's he's still got a handful of weeks here to bring those stats up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it all depends on where they at. Now, I think Dallas is going to have a good chance, obviously, to win the East as well as New England. So, but let me say this: if New England loses this game, Sam, I don't think it's the end of the world for them. Yeah, they're going to be a game behind the Buffalo Bills in terms of head to head. But look, man, this is their first time that they're playing each other this year, so they have another game at the end of the season. And that game is going to be at New England, and I don't think Bills have a chance to beat New England at New England. So this could be one of these splits. Everybody wins their home games and moves on. So if I was a Patriot fan and if I didn't see the output or outcome I wanted, I wouldn't really sweat it. I really wouldn't, because again, they're going to have another game at home to revenge that loss head to head. So I wouldn't worry about it.
It's very interesting schedule wise. I don't remember this any of the last handful of years here, but the Bills and Patriots have not met until tonight so far this season, and they still have to play again in the last handful of weeks of the season. The same's true of Baltimore. There was someone that Baltimore had. Was this their first game against the Steelers this weekend? Yes. And they have to play them, so that they're playing them again. And if you go look at Washington and Dallas haven't played.
They haven't played
yet
either
this season.
Yeah,
they've got 2. It's like 2 of their last 5 games,
that's this weekend, man.
I kind of like
Bears Packers this weekend.
I kind of like the NFL doing this. Backloading the schedule.
Yes, because these games count, man. I mean, this is rivalry weekend.
I was thinking about this today. If you were the NFL, why would you not week 1 and week 2 division games and weeks 16 and 17 division games, and to every year it's so on week 1 you're going to see New England and Buffalo and Miami and the Jets, and then week 2 Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the Jets, or did I say Miami and the Jets with their week 1?
Yeah.
So you get the season started right in those tough division matchups.
Yeah.
And then you finish the season with those tough division matchups.
That's actually not. I mean, that's not a bad idea, Sam. I mean, I don't know, because of the logistics. You got to remember these stadiums also are multi-use stadiums, for all these other events that happen. So I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of put all that in perspective. But I mean, NFL's king is always going to have that priority. But at the end of the day, when you see these schedules come out, it's like I mean, trust me, I know what it means to do a schedule. I just did one for our fishing league, and it's not freaking easy. So, but it doesn't work as a formulated ordeal as you think. But Sam, let's go over some of these games that happened. I'm not going to go over some of the games that just don't count. Like, I mean, Arizona, Chicago. I mean, good night. I mean,
we're not.
I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, that was a joke.
That's fine. I've said this since the beginning of the season. I've said it as the season keeps going along. It's not the year for the Bears and Fields. It's going to take a year or two. And
it's going to be more.
I've said it that
they fired the coaching staff.
Fields has not been great.
Yeah,
but there's flashes there. So
yeah, I mean, he just wasn't. But again, Fields didn't play this game. He was hurt. Dalton threw 4 interceptions. You can't win ball games against.
Actually, they just came across again. Dalton just threw another interception, right?
Yeah, Andy Dalton just threw another interception. Yeah, and so they lose 33-22 at home in a miserable game as well as miserable conditions. I mean, you can't give the ball up 4 times and expect to win in the NFL. Sorry, I don't care what team you're playing. So anyway, moving on. The Rams just crushed the Jaguars. Needless to say, do we need to say anything about that? OBJ does get a touchdown. Who cares? Right. So a game Thursday night, man, that we looked at was Dallas and New Orleans, man. Dallas actually showed up. New Orleans is completely hurt. I mean, they have nobody on their team, dude.
No, they're good.
Tyson Hill threw, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions. I think 5 interceptions, in fact. Again, you can't win football games by doing that. Tampa goes to Atlanta. Actually, Tampa, a little bit there. It was 30-17, Sam. But Atlanta was giving Tampa a hard time. I mean, they're going back and forth all game long, and then Tampa kind of blew it open at the end.
Yeah. That was in Atlanta.
That was in Atlanta.
Okay, you kind of think, and Atlanta has not. I mean, look, they're 5-7 overall. They're not. They haven't had a terrible year. Not a year to write home about, but they could. And again, there's a division game.
They still stink, dude. Their defense.
They do. Awful. But your division games always seem to kind of be a lot closer.
Yeah, I mean they're just not a good team, man. I mean, no way around it. They just stink. I mean, it's a shame because I mean, look, they have great facilities, great owner, willing to spend money. They just can't get it together, man. Ever since the old 28-3 New England Patriot comeback. Man, that did damage to that franchise, man. Tom Brady's in their head, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at the NFC South, the Bucs are 9-3. Everybody else is 5-7.
Yeah,
you're not going to have a wild card coming out of there,
correct?
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's a whole lot of mediocrity there. But how long is Brady going to play in Tampa?
Right.
The Saints have a good team. They need a quarterback. Atlanta, I've seen wants to move on from Ryan.
Oh, they have to.
And Carolina is going to pin their hopes on Christian McCaffrey again next year, and Christian McCaffrey will play 6 games next year.
He's such a great talent, man. Great talent, but dude, you got to stay on the field, man. Best ability.
Exactly. We were doing the fantasy preseason show with your brother, with Drew, and I said McCaffrey's not going to play. And I think he was the number 2 pick when we did our draft. And he's probably the 1 or 2, 3 in most fantasy drafts.
He's killed fantasy owners.
And, right.
He's absolutely killed fantasy owners. Why are you be more not to pick him? You have to pick that kind of talent and hope for the best. But, the fact of the matter is, dude, I mean, like the old adage, the greatest ability is availability. And if you're not on the field, you're no use to me, man. And, they used to give these head coaches in NFL a lot of slack because, they would just next man up mentality. And these players felt like they were kind of being used and abused as pawns. And when they got hurt, they were just shoveled aside. Well, dude, if you're not on the field, man, we got a team to run. So it is what it is, man. A game I picked plus money on to win at Cincinnati was the LA Chargers. They come back from the dead. Their 41-22 win in Cincinnati was pretty impressive. Again, Cincinnati is one of these teams you can't figure out. They're like Buffalo. I mean, daggone. Joe Burrow can absolutely go off, have a great game. The defense can be solid, but man, they just got absolutely from the get-go, very first drive, Chargers march right down the field. Mike Evans, touchdown, done. I mean, it was it was just, and it was never looking back, man. So they just they had the Air Coryell offense going on back in the day, dude, with the Powder Blues. And the Chargers looked pretty strong.
Cincinnati kind of jumped out early in the season and kind of took a lot of people by surprise with. I think they were 4-2 kind of early. Everybody's like, "Whoa, hey, what's going on?" And a little bit of falling back to earth. That they're maybe not quite as talented as they seemed initially, and the Chargers in the West can still, they're a game back of the Chiefs.
They're a game back. That's
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean they're not out of that division either. And Sam, breaking news. The Detroit Lions won a freaking football game, dude. Can you believe it? They beat Vikings in a last-second touchdown.
Was that a late game or was that an early game?
It was a late game. 4
Okay, all right.
They
won
a game.
We were doing our show, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching it, and I'm watching it. Did you see that winning touchdown grab?
I did. St. Cloud. Yeah.
He the guy who caught that, he held that ball and held that ball and held that ball, and seemingly until the referee.
First touchdown he's ever caught.
Good for him. Good for him.
I mean,
good for the Lions. The Lions haven't played great, but they've played a lot of people tough this year.
I tell you, man.
I knew they weren't going to go through the season not winning.
Yeah, they have the tie against the Steelers. They win at home against Minnesota, and quite frankly, I thought it was hysterical, but I understand how it means. But Dan Campbell after the game and all of Detroit was basically in an uproar because they won a football game, and Mrs. Ford came down and just hugged them, and I mean it was just incredible watching that they won a football game. It was just like, oh my God, their expectations are just beyond me. I mean,
looking at this game, how about this line? 30 for 40 for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a heck of a line there, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Kirk Cousins' line.
And you can't. You still can't get it done.
No, it's and man, I loved Cousins when he played here in Washington. I thought that again he was just a quarterback that needed the ownership to believe in him, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Turns out the ownership may have been right. I mean, he's got great stats, but he's not.
He just wasn't.
He's not a winner. Mac Jones is winning in New England.
$86 million guaranteed contract, man, and has brought nothing to the Vikings.
Yep.
So I mean, what are you going to do? Giants lose. Giants lose.
Breaking news.
20-9 at Miami. Miami, dude, down there, they're tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 6-7. I mean, one game from 500. And look, if the Patriots win, okay. I'm sorry, if the Patriots lose, they are basically one game, or I'm sorry, two games out of first. But you got to remember, they already have the head-to-head against Buffalo.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
so they're not out of it.
It's they changed the playoffs, so it's 7 teams that make it this year, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I just haven't.
So Miami's actually on a 5-game winning streak, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Patriots are on a 6-game winning streak. Miami has won 5 straight. It's crazy. So, I mean, again, I can't figure out the NFL. And Sam, the greatest quarterback in NFL history is playing right before our eyes, and I don't think people are really paying attention. Gardner Minshew from the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's your boy.
He is my boy.
You some Gardner.
I love Gardner Minshew. I got a Gardner Minshew jersey. I should have worn it tonight, but Gardner Minshew gets it done, man. I mean, look, here's beyond. Sam, I am tired of corporate quarterbacks. I am tired of them.
Absolutely. Right.
I love Gardner Minshew.
That's why I've been beating the drum for Taylor Heineke all season long. And since last season, I like that. He's not cookie cutter and boring, and Gardner Minshew is the same thing. I mean, if he sat down and cracked open a Busch Light in between drives in the second quarter, would it surprise you at all?
No, I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'd be all for it. Go for it, man.
How could you not love that stash, man? I mean, it's just he's so funny, man. I mean, he's just a unique gentleman, and I mean, dude, you want to pull up his stats? Check his stat line out. Okay, he's 20 of 25, 242, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had a 78.4 QBR and a rating of 133.7.
I'm gonna click on some Gardner Minshew here just because I want to see this
that
mug shot of him, man.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and he just he has fun playing the game, doesn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Don't you? I'm
He's not a
always going to
corporate
root for a guy who has fun.
Is it time to take the franchise out of Houston, Sam?
We tried that once before, and then they grew back. So I know there's some ownership issues going on there, right?
Yes.
And
maybe Jeff Bezos can go over there.
Oh, great! So another reason for me to hate Jeff Bezos,
yeah,
just because he owns a horrible team.
Yeah,
they seem that if you're not right in ownership, if you're not right in a front office, if you're not right in the coaching staff, then you're going to get results like this. And it's been a couple handful of years.
Disgusting.
I mean, what was it? It was just 3-4 years ago that Texas was in the playoffs and almost won their way into the AFC title game.
Right.
And then the wheels just come off, but you tend to see that happen with these poorly run franchises.
Yeah. Hey, breaking news here too. Washington football team won a game on the road at Las Vegas. But dude, let's just be honest. The referees absolutely screwed Las Vegas. But nonetheless, you got to overcome that. You shouldn't be put in those positions. Washington football team wins 17-15. Hey, Ron Rivera's got this team believing. They're 500, dude. They have won 4 straight.
4 straight, and it's been 4 straight ugly games too, right? And that's another thing I like that I like. I like
they began this streak beating Tampa.
Yeah, and I think they beat Tampa by 6-8-10, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So that one was pretty decisive and a pretty good offensive showing there. But since then, it's been defense. It's been run the ball.
And this is without Chase Young, y'all.
Right, and but I saw that Logan Thomas is out with an ACL.
That's out.
That's if you're a run short pass kind of team, then your tight end really means a lot.
Correct.
And that's a pretty darn good tight end to be losing.
Yeah, no doubt. Now look, Pittsburgh beat Baltimore, man. I get mixed feelings about this. Okay, so here's the deal: Baltimore scores with no time left. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to go for 2. They asked Lamar, hey, you want to go for 2 and just win it or go in the overtime? And John Harbaugh decides to go for 2. They didn't make it. And Pittsburgh winds up winning this ball game. Sam, I don't know what to think, man. I mean, because here's the deal. You know, it's a division game. It's a rival. You have to have this game for a division win. Do you go for 2 there, or do you take it in overtime, man? I think you got to take it in the overtime.
I think there's something that coaches go by, and but I think it's go for the win at home and go for the tie on the road.
They were on the road
to shoot in overtime. So I think that they you fly in the face of convention there. I think you should have, because you have the better team, you have the better quarterback. You need more time to run more plays to score more points.
Well, but also too, you have the best kicker in NFL history on your team, Justin Tucker.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So you know you had an okay defense. You held Pittsburgh to 20, but you've got to trust that your defense is going to hold and your kicker is going to be able to make the kicks. And so I think the bad decision was made. I think it was a little bit too aggressive. I think it's going to wind up costing him, Sam. I'll be honest with you. I think that loss that the Baltimore Ravens did, I think it's going to wind up coming back to haunt them. I mean, they are a game ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so they're 8-4 rather than 9-3. Pittsburgh 6-5-1. Cleveland Browns are 6-6. But I mean, that's a game. That's a game difference, man. And you've got if Baltimore and Cincinnati are tied at the end of this season,
wow,
and Cincinnati has the head-to-head, they're going to look back in this Pittsburgh game and say, "What if?"
Yeah, that's that. When we had Melissa Kim on here just a few weeks back, and the question I asked her was, look at this schedule for the Ravens.
Yeah,
it's like,
and we didn't even start. We didn't count Steelers. I assumed that the Ravens were going to beat the
Steelers. I counted it as a tough game because it's a division game. Any game that you're playing in the AFC North is going to be a tough game. And it was 2 Steelers games and a Browns game. And there's the Packers in there, and it's I think it's the Ravens and the Packers are this week, I believe. you needed to think about.
It's Packers Bears.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, what you were saying is give yourself another chance there
Yes.
to put your offense back on the field in overtime.
I don't think the right call was made, and I just think maybe we get Melissa Kim on here in the very near future and kind of talk about this game and that decision. But I think in Baltimore, they're definitely they're questioning John Harbaugh. I think that was a little bit too aggressive. I mean, there's times to be aggressive, man. There is, but I think under those circumstances, and you're trying to preserve the conference, you've got to make that extra point. Just move on to.
I think in just about every Ravens loss this season, there has been something questionable.
Dude,
to go on there.
They haven't won a game, I don't think, at all that's less than 3 points. I mean, they are in tight games every single week.
That's a loss to the Bengals there. They beat the Chargers 34-6 way back
earlier this year. Yeah.
That's week 6.
Yeah.
So I mean that's October still. But then it was a close game to the Vikings. You lose to the Dolphins, you lose to the Bengals. They only won by 3 against the Bears.
Yeah,
and then 6 against the hapless
and the Bears
Browns.
had an opportunity to win that late.
Yep, they did. So it's for the Ravens coming up, they're at Cleveland, then they're home for the Packers, at the Bengals, home for the Rams, and then home for the Steelers. So
that's brutal.
There's not an easy game left on this schedule for the Ravens. No. And they might have given a win away.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you can't give wins away in the NFL, man. It always comes back to haunt you. Dude, San Francisco, Seattle just came out of nowhere and beat San Francisco down, man, 30-23. The game was a lot further back. I mean, San Francisco scored late, kind of shortened that up. But Seattle wins 4. They're 4-8. San Francisco 6-6. Not the season I expected, man, at all from Seattle. But to be fair, Sam, their differential is -10.
Really?
So it's not that terrible, but their record does. Their record is awful. I mean, they're at the bottom of the NFC West. They are just. I mean, their season's over, man.
I'll pull it up and look. And, I got everybody put the boots to me here a few weeks back when I said that I didn't like Russell Wilson. He wasn't my type of quarterback.
The Bengals are the best team in this division. Not yesterday, dude.
Not yesterday.
Not yesterday. You can't lose. God, you can't lose against the Chargers at home like that and tell me that they're the best team in the division.
Oh, the Chargers are a good team. That's
not 41 points in Seattle. They are. I mean, in Cincinnati, they are.
Coming across. They should have done that. If Cincinnati can get back to what they were early season, I still think that there's a chance that they could steal that division because, as we just talked about, what the Ravens are going up against in the next 5 weeks isn't good.
So, like we talked about, Sam, in the beginning of this year, I said that, and I know I got slack for it, but these teams are starting to figure out Lamar Jackson. Okay, they are. They're starting to figure him out. Like, you spy him, you hit him hard, and you make him throw the football. If you make him throw the football, you have a better chance of winning than him running all over you. Okay,
he hasn't been the explosive player this year. Yeah.
They figured out Russell Wilson. They're figuring out Lamar Jackson, and a lot of these teams are starting to corral Patrick Mahomes. Now, Mahomes had a pretty good, pretty good comeback here, but earlier in the season, man, dude, I mean, he wasn't great. And again, it's going to be, it's just you give these defensive coordinators enough tape, they are going to figure you out, man. And we've argued time and time again, man, that this is going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
It's as you say that, if you just look at what the records are, nobody is running away with any division.
No.
The Cowboys are up by 2 over Washington.
Right.
With Washington playing, they've been coming to Washington this week. Washington finds a way and steals that game, then it could be a very
the only team in the NFL right now has been officially eliminated from the playoffs is the Houston Texans.
We haven't eliminated the Lions
yet? Detroit Lions have a mathematical shot of making the playoffs.
Wow. Hey,
I mean, go figure.
Breaking news as it breaks. Tom Wilson scores his 100th career goal to put the Capitals up 1-0 over Anaheim.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
Congratulations.
was. He was
Tom
there.
Wilson.
There was he was the only one standing in front of the net, and the rebound goaltender off to the side, and the rebound comes right straight to him. He was about 4 feet from the net and just buries it.
Nice, dude. Nice.
So yeah, so we're talking about Lamar Jackson there, and I think I said in preseason, Lamar Jackson would not start 17 games this season. I won that bet.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
I think it was an illness that kept him out, but still.
Yeah, you're right.
It was
against Chicago. Right. It was against Chicago.
We talked about Mac Jones stats earlier. Mac Jones' completion percentage was 70.3. Lamar Jackson is a 64.0. Yards, 28.65. It's only 15 more yards than Mac Jones is thrown for. And Mac Jones still has to play tonight. Touchdown to interceptions for Lamar, 16-13.
Yeah.
And sacked 37 times. So, completions percentage, Jones is better. Yards is similar. Touchdown to interception ratio and sacks taken. Mac Jones has played way better than Lamar. And you think that Lamar has the getaway ability that he should be sacked maybe 12 times a season.
Right.
But 37, that's a very, very surprising number for me to see out there. And I wonder if some of that is just wanting to stand back there and try and throw the ball, but a 64% completion percentage isn't getting it done.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay, but like
you want to be able to get
that 70% for sure. Good stuff, man. All right, and then we're gonna finish out the last game of last night. Basically, was the Kansas City Denver game. Kansas City just did Kansas City things. I mean, actually, to be honest with you, one of the points, several points that they got was a pick six, man. So Kansas City's offense was held to what?
15 minus 7.
15 points, and then Denver was 9. So I mean, without a pick six, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but that was a score. But again, not a Patrick Mahomes type ordeal, throwing up 25, plus points on the board.
Yeah, that's another thing. Mahomes' stat line from the game, not good. And I have seen a lot of not good quarterback stat lines all season.
Well, the most important stat out of that game was a W. I mean,
right. Yeah, it didn't look good for them for a little bit, but it's getting back to where you expected Kansas City to be. Yeah. I expected them to be undefeated, but that didn't happen.
Sam, that was the NFL. Let's move on. We talked about the Patriots matchup, but let's move on. Some other news in sports, man. Did you happen to see the interview with Tiger Woods?
No, but I heard a little bit about it there. That he's kind of going to pick and choose his majors to go and play in.
His career's done.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of these like honorary starters or honorary golfers, but there's no way he catches Jack Nicklaus.
No. Hearing about 10 years when a Golf Galaxy near you opens, he'll be there to cut the ribbon for it. Maybe.
Right. I mean, I've talked about this to some friends of mine, and my understanding is, I know some people that know the doctors that worked on Tiger's leg, and without getting into too much the HIPAA stuff, but I mean, it was bad. And even Tiger said that the amputation was definitely it was an option. And obviously, they wound up saving the leg. But my understanding is they had to cut so much out of his leg and fuse it together that when he walks and on the golf, actually his one leg is shorter than the other.
Oh, right? Wow.
Significantly shorter than the other. And so, obviously he's walking with a limp, but also when you play golf, that is definitely not a good thing. You know what I mean? You want a balanced stance.
Right.
And so, if he overcomes this, man, he's the greatest athlete to ever live. I mean, in any sport. Okay.
Yeah.
If he overcomes this and winds up winning a major or a championship,
it
would be unquestionable. It would be almost better than what Ben Hogan did when he was in his accident in Texas and overcame and became a champion. But this is a lot more different. I mean, Tiger is done. He's done. And I think he knows it. And he's going to try to put his effort into his son's career rather than his own.
I think that you could maybe see him steal a major here. No. You don't think he has it in to win one again?
No, okay. He doesn't have the power. Doesn't have the
Okay.
power to do it.
All right.
Yeah, he can't. He can't. He even said that he can still hear the ball in when he hits.
Oh, wow,
You
wow,
know what
wow.
I
Okay,
mean?
all right, all right.
So
Yeah,
he's
there's a lot I don't know about golf, but in just a little bit that I've put a golf club in my hands and tried to hit a golf ball, it's not freaking easy, man.
oh, dude,
It's. I mean, well, no, hold on. I can hit a golf ball with a golf club all
yeah.
day, every day. Making it go where it's supposed to go and how far it needs to go, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot different.
It
So
is
yeah,
the
there's
hardest sport to conquer and to absolutely dominate. There's no question about it. That's why what Tiger did, it was so impressive.
yeah.
I think
How
still
about,
hitting a baseball at 99 miles an hour is the most athletic thing that you can do.
yeah. So baseball is, if you're successful three out of every 10 times at baseball, you'll make the Hall of Fame. We've never really got to talk about this. What are your thoughts on Tiger? How much of a Tiger fan are you? Were you? Did you enjoy watching him play back in the 2000s, early
So,
2000s?
it's really a tale of three for me for Tiger. Okay, and let me kind of bring you back. When he first came on as a kid, and he started in 1997, I think he started his PGA Tour career. I was a big fan because to see him do what he did and just dominate the field, and also the criticisms he was taking because of his skin color and everything else, and he was just making such breakthroughs in the sport of golf that was just so stuck up and dry. Which I played golf since I was 7 years old, man, and I went to the PGA Tour and like followed all these guys ever since. My favorite golfer, honest to God, was Calvin Peete, who happened to be a African American golfer. I just loved him. I just cherished him. But I had a fanhood for Tiger when he was younger, and then I, it just got so old, and just see him win, and then he started getting cocky and arrogant, and then the thing that with his wife, and then the car wreck, and all that stuff, it really kind of turned me off about what Tiger was doing, man. It really did. I just kind of got turned off about it, And I started to hear some things how he really was, and it just wasn't for me. In fact, I'll show you pictures. I actually talked to Hank Haney down in Dallas, and me and him had like an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation, just me and him talking golf. And this was after Tiger fired Hank as a golf coach, and we talked a lot about, not Tiger so much as a golfer, but Tiger as a person. And he let me know a lot on, really, before Tiger's book came out or whatever, his dad's book, about how Tiger was wired, and I got a little bit better understanding on who he was. A lot better understanding who he was, and how he thinks and what made him be. And then when he got hurt and he was struggling, part of me felt sorry for him, but then part of me was like, you get what you deserve. You know what I mean? But then I was like, he became this like sympathetic figure. He became.
You're talking about after the back injury there?
Yeah, after the back injury,
right.
He's gone from golf. And look, at that time, golf needed Tiger and still needs Tiger, but golf was at a position in a time to where, like, you would have the Jordan Spieths come up, the Justin Thomases, and all this other stuff, but you really couldn't. It wasn't the same with Tiger. But then, when he won the Masters, the last Masters he won, I think it was in 2016 or 2018, something like that, I literally shed a tear. It was like going back to your childhood, or going back in time and just watching this occur and seeing this book being written and the story being read from greatness.
You say that, and that's kind of how I thought about this, his career as it first started. My golf knowledge and golf fandom is very, very, very small.
Mine is,
I love excellence, and I want to see the best doing their best, and so that was why I watched Tiger Woods, and I got to see that stuff. I'm like, man, this stuff is great, and maybe he brought some more eyes to the sport. Not that it's really a sport that ever needs it. There's many talented golfers, but I wanted, as he was making that early charge, winning all those majors, I wanted him to go and win. Was it 19 to
18 to tie, 19.
18 to tie. Yeah, I wanted him to win 19. I wanted him to win 21. I wanted him to be no question the best. But like you were saying, then it started. Maybe he got a little too big for his britches. His head, and his ego, a little too big. And then my fandom for him kind of started to wane.
Every golfer, every athlete should be thanking Tiger Woods and be on this tour to thank him. Because look, if you look at the athletes' top 100 list of paid athletes, right? This is back in Tiger Woods' era. This is when, Phil and Tiger were doing their thing. And I mean, the top 10, 3 golfers were in there. Tiger was number 1, and Michael Jordan was number 2. He'll always be up there. And so on and so forth. Phil Mickelson was on there. And then you see Justin Thomas. I mean, all these golfers were all over the place. Some racers were in that list.
What year are you talking about? 2004?
No, this is going to be This is going to be probably I would say probably 20. Maybe. Let's see. His peak was 2002 was when he won Pebble Beach by 18 strokes.
Okay.
So that's what it would be. Yeah.
Okay. So okay. Yes. I'll just pull it up here.
2000 is when he won Pebble Beach.
Highest paid athlete 2002 Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
69 million. Yeah. And number 2 was Michael Schumacher, the F1 racer.
Yep.
67 million. Then Michael Jordan 36 million. So I mean, Tiger. I mean, that's not just.
That's what I'm saying. So the amount of money
that is a ton of money.
I know, but I mean, the purses exponentially went up, and now these guys are the winners, Sam, of these tournaments are playing for like 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 million dollars. At every tournament, and again, they have nothing but Tiger to thank for that. So again, he will be revered, he will be honored, he will be, and he is. I mean, absolutely respected in everything. He laid the foundation for these golfers that they see today. But at the end of the day, his career's over, man, and it's sad. What happened. But again, he has struggled, man. He has struggled with pain pills, and all these different things that you see him struggle with, man. And I think they said he fell asleep at the wheel in California. That's what caused the wreck.
I mean, I jacked my back up here about 10 years ago, and it's never right. It's I haven't had a back surgery or anything. So I'm dreading when I have to have a back surgery. Last week I sat in one of these really hard, stiff chairs doing the show, and I get up after. I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. So I mean, that's just.
Well,
I've got a few more years on me than
Father Time's
Tiger
undefeated, man. I mean, he's fighting. He's fighting not only Father Time, but all the injuries that he's had, and he's got his back fused and all that stuff, man. So I mean, he's a walking sling. But again, he'll never get to the point. I think he'll be 40. Let's see, he's a year or 2 older than us, Sam. Let's see,
he is okay.
I think he's 46.
All right,
45 or 46. One of the two. I think he's 45. But anyway, he's got 5 more years till he gets to the senior tour.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, man, I do appreciate Tiger. I hate hearing this, and I think he's coming to that sad realization. But I can't wait to see him swing. I mean, see what happens, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
and like I said too, man, as a fan, I would have loved to have seen him win 20 or 21. No.
I'm a Jack fan.
If
I like Jack Nicklaus, man.
All right.
I do. I mean, I got the chance to meet Arnold Palmer. And then, we were talking about Jack and everything else, man. I just like the guys before Tiger that paved the road to what they see today. I'm just that kind of old school golf fan. But anyway, moving on to the NBA, man. The NBA has been exciting. The NBA, I think, has been so much better this year. I love watching the games. You'll see as much ridiculous drama other than LeBron. LeBron is just going down the road.
Well, that's late. That drama's late. It's out west. It can step. I mean, that ticks me off too, man. I was a Lakers fan ever since Showtime. When I was a kid.
Oh, I remember.
I'm a Showtime Lakers fan, and so I loved Kobe and Shaq playing for the Lakers. And I was like, well, all right, cool. LeBron's gonna be a Laker, and let's see if he can do it here too. But it seems like he's making a joke of that franchise. but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but I think LeBron's on his sunset of his career too, man.
yeah, he definitely is.
Now, look, anybody wants to come at me and tells me that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan, you just need to just go on down the road.
No,
I mean,
he's
I'm
not.
not even going to talk to you.
There was a couple few years there that you could take a couple of LeBron years and match them up against a couple of Michael years, and then say, look, they're dead even, or LeBron's better, but no,
It's
career
two
as a whole, no.
it's two different eras, two different ways that they played the game. LeBron would never have lasted and put up
No,
nearly the
no,
numbers that he
no,
had put up
no.
if he was in Michael's era.
He would have gone down the middle one
I would
time,
have
and
loved
Bill
to see
Laimbeer
Michael
would
and
have
LeBron
laid him
battle.
down,
Yeah.
and LeBron would have gone and whined and cried and sat on the bench the whole rest of the game.
100%. 100%. I mean, you take an elbow in LeBron's jaw, he's crying for days.
Yeah. But
But
Jordan drove at that stuff. He's like, give me your best shot.
yeah, absolutely. The Nets and the Bulls are your Eastern leaders, man. And then, man, the resurgence of the Warriors. I mean, Stephen Curry is. I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's changed basketball. He's changed the way basketball's played, man. The guy, I mean, it just doesn't miss.
No, it's
He's so
it's,
fun to watch.
It's sick, right? Yeah. I'm not
And the
I'm
Suns,
not an outside shooting
the
kind of
Suns and
fan,
the
really.
Warriors, the Suns Warriors, Devin Booker and Stephen Curry is just awesome to watch.
Yeah, I'm really going to have to college football's on its wind down now until we get to the playoffs. So I'm gonna have to put me some more time into some NBA.
You got to watch it. It's a great product right now.
I've really been away from the NBA for probably since Shaq and Kobe left the Lakers. It didn't, and then I had a conversation with a guy at work about this one time. I was working in somebody's house, and his kid has a big Cleveland Cavaliers fat head, and the guy was about my age, and I think his son had a Warriors fat head sticker up there, and I said to the guy, I was like, "Your kids have Cleveland and Golden State stuff up in their rooms. When we were their age, Cleveland and Golden State won like a combined 15 games a year. And now look at them. They were just always seemed like a laughing stock to me. Cleveland, they're hanging around the middle now, but I'm talking LeBron era Cleveland. I miss those days of Jordan's Bulls and the Pistons and the Nets and the not the Nets, the Knicks and the Pacers and Seattle, the Portland Trailblazers. Some of the Portland Trailblazers Lakers battles were epic.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sounds like you're saying that basketball might be a little bit like that again. I might have to
Yeah,
dive
because
back
I mean
in.
they got rid of some of these rules, man. These ticky tack foul rules and stuff like that, man. I mean, and since they did that, it's a little bit more physical. They're opening up the floor a little bit. You notice that the points are not as much, right? You're not seeing as many points. But yeah, it's a good product, man. You have to actually fight for rebounds now, man. These guys are actually putting a little bit more body on the floor and actually playing a little bit of physical ball. It's been fun.
Well, it's okay. Oh, yeah, that definitely sounds like the basketball that I liked. So maybe I definitely will have to put a look at that. It was locally here. The Wizards were getting some talk. Lost. I'm seeing here they've lost 2, 4 and 6 there in their last 10 actually. So Wizards falling a little bit back down to earth. What would this area be like with a really good Washington Wizards team? Could fans jump on them like they did for the Capitals, like they did for the Nationals?
To be fair, dude, like when Gilbert Arenas and all those guys were here, we had a pretty good, decent team, man. I mean, we finished, second and third in the Eastern Conference. Our headaches were with Boston. It was a good fandom, but it wasn't like, okay, this is a basketball town. You know what I mean? And unless they actually, win and get star name players and stuff like that are not like, Michael Jordan being 40 years old. Yeah, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. But anyway, lastly, I want to talk about, man, you go just watch the NBA. It's good stuff.
Cool.
Oregon coach, man. Oregon coach winds up possibly going to Miami, dude.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday that Miami hadn't really fired their coach yet. And then I heard the day that the Miami does fire their coach.
They did. Mm-hmm.
I think that Miami would be one of those places that I was talking about last night that I would like to be a coach at. How hard would it be to recruit to get a kid to come to Miami? Hey, come to Miami and play. Weather's great and the women are beautiful. Okay, coach, I'm on my way.
Look, so you go from Oregon
to Miami.
Oregon,
yeah,
to Miami. Yeah, I'm
right.
going.
Yeah, right.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And it's so you're jumping at Pac-10, ACC, kind of two conferences that are probably close to even footing there.
Yeah.
But Oregon's had some good teams and some good seasons. But I really think that USC is going to be on the rise here in the next few years. If USC starts to take back over the Pac-10, being there in Oregon does nothing for you. The ACC is wide open
for sure.
They need a flagship team.
I agree. Well, Sam, we got to get out of here, man. That's it. Cool. That's our show. Follow Sam and myself on Instagram. Nosar. Sam, what's your Instagram?
I have no idea.
Okay. Then I'm at Nosar.
I promise I'll have my Instagram for next week.
Yeah, I mean, follow us on Facebook, all that good
stuff. Yeah, Motion Sports Center on Facebook. Hey, let me hit you with this real quick. The F1 season is going to draw to a close this coming weekend, and Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are tied atop the leaderboard there, or for points. Crazy a race in Saudi Arabia this weekend, and they're going to finish the season this weekend in Abu Dhabi. A beautiful place to circuit to watch a race, and those two don't like each other. They are going to go. It's going to be tooth and nail for the F1 championship this coming weekend. So,
all right, brother.
man.
We'll see you later.
All
man.
Right, let's do this again next week.
Yep.